NCAA volleyball here at the Reagan Athletic Complex. Tonight, it's the Greenville Panthers, who are now SLIAC champions for the last 7 years in a row, coming into Eureka, Illinois, ready to take on the Red Devils, who sit last in the SLIAC. Matthew Swan, Lucas Norcavicius bringing you tonight's coverage here on ECTV, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Lucas, tonight it is a pink out. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know, we got a lot of support out here. You guys will see shortly. A lot of people wearing pink over here. About the game, honestly, this is a tough team. This is a team that's been very good and very consistent for a long time. And for all you sports fans out there, you know one of the hardest things in sports is being a winner for years on years on years on end. And that's what they've done.
Yeah, as we take a look at the Eureka Red Devils' last matchup, it was another doubleheader, and as we know, this season specifically, the doubleheaders have not been on the side of Eureka. They did lose both games in the doubleheader. Again, the first one here at home to Westminster, 3-0. Eureka started out strong, and for the most part, they even stayed within striking distance, but Westminster took control after a variety of different runs. So unfortunately, the Red Devils did end up losing that game. The second game, Eureka played on the road against Webster. Again, a quick sweep, 3 sets. That's all it took. Eureka only hit as a team for 93%, which is well below the average for the Division III level, especially for women's volleyball. Lucas, as we take a look at Eureka, what type of adjustments are they going to have to make to produce cleaner swings?
I mean, obviously it's all going to start from the pass, right? You can't have an offense without a pass. I can't tell you if that's what's not causing the hit percentage to be high, but I can tell you that is one thing that can definitely bring it down, right? Another thing is, you know, getting that hitter-setter connection and going early. As a hitter, one of the hardest things in volleyball is when you're 2 sets into a game and you've swung about 3 times, 2 of your hits were out, one of them was like a little bit of a sloppy swing. You know, your next couple of sets, you're not really feeling that confident. So you really want to get your hitters going, you want to get them confident, and you want to get them going early.
That's right. We're going to want to see Eureka kind of kick things off as soon as they can. As we take a look at the Panthers, they also did lose their last game to Westminster, who is the only team above Greenville in the SLIAC standings right now. 3-1 was the final in that score. But, you know, that first set, Greenville did win, and largely because of their front row. We see senior Elena Evers. She played a big factor in that, totaling for 14 kills, 2 service aces as well. Obviously, Greenville has done a great job throughout the course of the season, but we take a look at head-to-head matchups. Eureka is only 3-40 overall against the Panthers. Obviously, that's on paper, it's something that doesn't look great, but the Panthers are going to look to try to stay in the top of the conference standings. Eureka trying to just pick things up where they left off. But that's all we have for you on the pregame side of things. Again, stay tuned for upcoming coverage between the Greenville Panthers and the Eureka Red Devils here on ECTV, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Did you know toner powder is actually powdered plastic, and Americans consume 100 million pounds of it each year? Epson Workforce Enterprise AM series printers are powered by simple, smart, and clean precision core technology, doing away with waste-making laser printer designs and parts that end up in landfills. So you can experience less wasting, more saving. Your Epson Business First partner is City Blue Technologies in Peoria, Eureka College's official partner for sustainable printing.
There's nearly 678,290,000 kids under 5 around the world. But what's so important about being 5? A lot, it turns out. Children who live to age 5 are twice as likely to reach adulthood. That's why vaccines matter so much. For 40 years, Rotary and partners have delivered vaccines globally. Like here, and even here. Impressive, right? But 12.5 million children are still totally unvaccinated. Rotary knows we can find them. Because when Rotary and Indian vaccinators looked for families at bus and train stations, used motorbikes, and trekked house to house, they lowered polio cases by 94%. See, it can be done, and the results are worth it. Let's ensure that all children grow up safe from preventable diseases.
Hey, boss. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
I said I'm fine.
Since I was little, it was only like me and my parents. You think you created family out of characters? Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take that and make it into a song.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it. In my head, in my head, in my head. Where you at? Where you at? On the way out. In my head, in my head, in my head.
Hey, son.
Hey, Pop.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
And now we send it down for starting lineups.
Now let's meet tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting Panthers. Number 9, Mia DeJesus. Number 14, Elena Evers. At libero, number 21, Claudia Bonacorsi. Number 25, Abby Groman. Number 26, Lainey Hicks. Number 30, Emma Ratterman. And number 31, Kennedy Legendre. The Panthers are coached by Tom Ackerman and assisted by Emily Butler, Phil Davis, and Anna Murphy. Now let's meet the starting lineup for your Eureka Red Devils. A junior from South Wilmington, Illinois, number 1, Colby Greif. Playing libero, a sophomore from Wilmington, Illinois, number 2, Lexi Laramatis. A junior from Macomb, Illinois, number 3, Caitlin Robinson. A junior from Newark, Illinois, number 6, Bree Dixon. Playing libero, a senior from Delavan, Illinois, number 11, Claire Schaffner. A sophomore from Lincoln, Illinois, number 16, Alyssa Company. A senior from Arcola, Illinois, number 22, Hallie Ghana. And a freshman from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, number 26, Jocelyn Bang. The Red Devils are coached by Noah Ray.
So there you have it, the starting lineups for both sides, Lucas, as we get ready to get things going. One thing that we failed to mention in the pregame, when Greenville lost to Westminster last time out, that was actually Greenville's first conference loss of this 2025 season. Do you think maybe that changes the mindset for the Panthers coming into this one?
I think when you're a team, like you said, that has had sustained dominance for a while, I'm going to make an assumption here that their culture is winning and dominance, right? That's kind of how those teams sustain that dominance. And if I were to have any guess on how they're going to go into this game, I'd say that win probably made it a little bit more difficult for the Eureka Red Devils, because knowing how those coaches get, the ones that win, they like to come into these games after a loss, and they like to really get their team going.
That's exactly right. The last matchup between these two teams was earlier this year. Greenville hosted Eureka. The Panthers did win that one in 3 sets back in September. Obviously, Eureka looking to change the outcome of that game just a little bit. I will say there does appear to be a little extra fan involvement here in this game.
There does look to be a lot of support for, I see a lot of people wearing pink. Oh, something's being thrown.
Yeah, somebody threw something in the stands.
Yeah, one thing that people watching at home can't see is on one of the walls, and on one of the right walls, there's posters for cancer awareness made by our Eureka Red Devils women's team.
Both teams out on the court. Looks like it'll be Eureka here to kick things off. At the service line is the freshman Jocelyn Vang. Vang from Minnesota, and her first serve of the night is just out of bounds, so the first point goes to the Panthers. Something we saw last broadcast as well, Eureka struggling with serving. Here for Greenville to kick things off. There's Robinson over the middle. Grief is blocked, and we talked about it in the pregame, that Panthers front line, they are very dominant.
Yeah, Eureka's going to have a tough time getting around that block, but not only that, on defense, I'm sure this Panthers team's going to be able to run the ball to all positions and score from all positions, and we'll see how the Eureka Red Devils handle that.
Company tried to go with the floater a few plays ago. Here she is again, and that one goes right past Groman. Eureka gains their first point of the night. Something that we preached from time and time again is trying to get the Red Devils to get things started early.
Just what I was going to say. I think this might be an illicit company game here. We really got to get her hot early.
Over the middle, Robinson's there, but she hits it too far to the right. 3-1 now, Greenville. A lot of the points that the Red Devils have given up this season aren't necessarily points that their opponent has earned. Eureka tends to give their opponent a lot of free points. Here to serve is Mappa. There's Dixon. Outside Company. Again, that front line not letting anything get by. Here's Dixon again. Outside the swing. Robinson able to keep it in the air. Lyra Mattis. Dixon now over the middle. Good stop by Groman, able to keep it in play. Here's one, and Eureka gains the point. Leg injury, unable to do anything with that. Her body was angled a little to the left. That caused her to have a bit more of a difficult time hitting it over the net. It'll be Bree Dixon for Eureka. There's a nice set, and that one will fall. Blanca Garcia Chiez with the kill. That'll put Greenville up by 2 now.
We did talk about it. I think they're going to run a fast offense. Typically good teams, they run faster tempos, and we'll see how Eureka's middles handle that.
Here's Rupert over the middle. Lyra Mattis with some space. Gauna unable to knock that one down. There's a floater into the net. Eureka gains their 3rd point of the night.
Last time we were on broadcast, Gauna had quite a game for herself. Let's see if she can get that going again, right?
Yeah, she's been heavily involved, especially throughout these last few games. Company over the middle. Groman outside. And Company unable to keep that one in play. Good hit there by Evers. Again, we mentioned Evers in the pregame as well. Season high of 15 kills for Evers. Now she will take her place at the line. There's Shell looking for Nagel, and that one will go to Greenville. Yeah, it's been that kind of season here for Eureka, just unable to find that spark in the first set. Here's Shell with the floater, front line, unable to keep it in play. Eureka keeping it within 2.
I had a coach who told me one time, it doesn't matter if they're big, it doesn't matter if they're athletic, that just means that there's more body for you to tool it off of, right? So if we can find their block and we can score points off of it, we might have a good game today.
Here's Schaffner. Over the middle. Outside again, another slam, and that one falls. Give the kill back to Groman. Bonacorsi. And that'll roll right past Brooklyn Shell, who had to drop to her knees just to try to keep it up, but really good placement there from Greenville.
Yeah, that one had some movement on it. Ever seen it knuckleball in baseball? That's about what that would look like if you were standing in her shoes.
And there it is again. Yep. Bonacorsi goes right back to it. And I believe there's a term for it too.
Float serve.
Float serve, that's what it is.
Yep.
That's one of the things I studied.
Yeah. Just
couldn't think of it.
If you watch the way she tosses the ball, ideally you want to toss it with as little spin as possible, kind of similar to baseball where you don't want it to have any rotation, and just let that air current, whatever you have in the building, move it around for you.
Dixon over to Nagel. Keeping it up is Bonacorsi again. Here's the slam. Dixon's there. And some miscommunication between Grief and Shell. Greenville, the first tonight to reach double digits.
The one dangerous thing about this serve is it's relatively easy to get in, and if you have a lot of movement on it, it's hard to pass, so you kind of get the best of both worlds.
That time, Bonacorsi into the net. Greenville will turn things over. So it'll be Caitlin Robinson serving for the first time tonight. Outside again, there's Robinson able to keep it up. A strong hit from Groman. This time over the middle, Robinson again. Dixon over to Shell, Lyra Mattis over. Ratterman, ball still in play. That time Griff able to keep it in. Strong rally between both sides, and who else but Caitlin Robinson watching it go right out of bounds. And she was a very important part in that rally.
That's a big point right there. You know, you make 2 digs. If you lose that ball, you're not feeling as good about it. But now I guarantee you she's feeling good.
Outside to Shell, and she'll be blocked. Lyra Mattis was right there, but some great deflection from Greenville. Again, that front line, really hard for any opponent to get anything past them. Here's a serve from Ratterman. Grief. Ratterman again. And that one will go right past Lyra Mattis. Legendre with the kill.
You know, that's what I'm very curious with Greenville being such a good team. I am very interested to see if any of their players have a jump serve.
Shell tried to get that one over, but looks like maybe she might have touched the net. Greenville leads it by 7. Eureka will call a timeout. We're going to take a break as well. Stay tuned. You are watching ECTV live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving. I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Broadcast booth. You're watching ECTV Matthew Swan, my broadcast partner, Lucas Norcavicius, bringing you tonight's coverage. We're in the middle of set number 1. Greenville leads it 13-6. And boy, is this a very strong Panthers team. We talked about the reaction from Greenville's head coach, Tom Ackerman, who is in his 23rd season. And despite his team's success, he is just a statue right now.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's ice cold. I don't think I've seen him make a reaction once, you know?
That's how you know a team is ready to play.
Absolutely. Well, I'll guarantee you that a lot of that has to do with that last loss.
Dixon with the slam. It's long, so Greenville gains the first. Oh, actually, it looks like...
I guess we're getting a reaction now, right?
Yeah. So, actually, the point will go to Eureka. I'm not sure what the call was, but it looks like Ackerman is discussing it right now.
They're saying that they believe that one of the Greenville players touched that ball. I don't think I saw a touch, but it's so hard as the up ref to see that because you have about a fraction of a second to react, right?
So Eureka does gain the first point coming out of the timeout, and the momentum shifts over the middle. Nearly some miscommunication for Greenville. Here's Griff, front line with the block, and it'll fall. Greenville still up by 7.
That's the biggest difference with this Panthers team and their blocking. I mean, they're not just getting up; they're reaching up and over, right? I mean, they have some really real athletes on that team for sure.
Here's the serve from Groman. And Company's going to have to hit it over. Both hands on that one. Outside, the deflection. Evers unable to get it to fall. Here's Company back to it, and too strong. And no deflection on that one, so Greenville does obtain another point.
That is a good strategy, though, for the Eureka Red Devils. They aim for the high hands. We call that swinging for high hands.
Company again. Robinson sets her feet. Here's Dixon into the net, kept up by Vang.
I don't know if they got a touch there.
This time, Company goes with the floater. Good stop by Bonacarsi. Robinson outside. Another floater, and this time, Company able to find a space on the floor.
Earlier on that play, like I said, I don't think the Greenville touched that ball. It's actually very common for the blockers not to mention it because they want their stats. So they'll land, and then if they lose that point, they kind of regret it now. But
here's Griff, and that'll be way too strong on the serve. So immediately Greenville here regains possession.
I mean, we've talked about that extensively. I mean, we can't miss serves after big points like that. You really want to keep that momentum going, keep your foot on the gas.
Brooklyn Napa, and that'll go past a diving Vang. And it's been all Greenville here in set number 1.
Eureka's lib is going to take a step up and see if she can grab that short float.
Back to Ving there, Robinson. Back sets to Dixon into the net. But right now it seems like Eureka's moving a little bit too fast. And actually, Lucas, one of the things we talked about that actually you brought to my attention was that Greenville would be moving at a pretty quick pace. That's exactly what they're doing. Company outside, and she'll hit it directly into the tape. Another point here for Greenville.
Yeah, good teams, they'll make you play at their pace, they'll make you play at their tempo, and they'll ground and pound.
And that is how you obtain complete control. Greenville is successfully completing all of the soft skills. Here's a floater from Gauna. So she earns her first point of the night. Red Devils trail by 10. It'll be Bree Dixon to serve here for Eureka. Again, this is Dixon's first year playing volleyball at Eureka College. There's one deflected by Groman. Back set, a slam from Legendre. She gets it to fall. 20 points now for the Panthers.
She's been real effective on that right side all night.
Legendre, 18 kills this season. That is her season high. Groman again. Vang this time is there. Dixon, Gauna now. Outside, Evers unable to get it to fall. Looks like maybe she mistimed the jump. And Eureka with their first time tonight, gaining double digits.
I think that's exactly what happened there. I think she went a little early and didn't expect the ball to be that high.
So it'll be the star, Alyssa Company. There's that laser of a serve and out of the reach of Emma Ratterman. Eureka clawing their way back into it.
One good way to slow down teams that make you play at their pace is to stay on that service line. You really want to keep that ball on your side. You want to get them out of system.
And that's what Company looks to do here. Outside, Evers again, deflected, and Dixon dives, but she's unable to get to it. Good effort.
I'm tempted to say our cameraman may have gotten in the way of that ball right there.
He's fighting for his life down there. So now it'll be Elena Evers again. They're at the line this time, over the middle and too strong. Good job by Lyra Mattis to get out of the way. We mentioned that Eureka isn't necessarily the best at starting off strong, but as we progress into the set, they are a very good team at staying in the game and keeping it competitive. Outside, blocked by that front row. And this time for Eureka, it'll be off the hands of Miller into the stands. So Greenville 22 points now.
Well, if anything, if it tells you anything, it tells you that Eureka has good in-game adjustments and coaching. It's, about execution.
Bonacorsi over to Shell. Here's Dixon setting it up for Nagel. And Bonacorsi's there again. This time, a slam over the middle from DeJesus. Lyra Mattis unable to get to it. Greenville 2 points away from taking set number 1.
You'd love to see Eureka get 2 or 3 nice little energy points here going into that second set and hopefully change things up here.
Shell forced to hit this one over the middle. Bonacorsi. Here's a floater. Lyra Mattis getting down on a knee, keeps it up. This one hit over and an open space. It'll be a kill for Groman. Panthers are now 1 point away from taking the first set of the night. Claudia Bonacorsi remains at the line. Good serve over the middle. Shell with the dig. Griff. This one hit over by Miller. Set outside. Groman. Dixon is there. There's a deflection, still in play.
That may have been out.
Back row, Miller able to keep it up. Here's a slam blocked by Eureka. Malia Nagel.
That's exactly what they need.
Great coverage. Stepping up when it matters.
Ideal situation would be they get 12 points here, but a slightly more realistic situation would be they get 2 or 3 blocks here before this set gets finished off, and they feel good going to that second set. They feel like they've...
Outside, and this time Groman gets the Red Devils with the floater. That'll wrap up set number 1. Greenville takes it 25-13. We'll be back. Stay tuned for set number 2 here on ECTV, live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
I guess they will not.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
A good citizen is someone who wants to make a positive impact, both in their communities and in the world around them. The Division III approach is absolutely the best approach out there for amateur sport because it wants student athletes to explore all parts of who they are. Be successful in the classroom, be successful in competition, be successful in the community. So our student athletes learn what it means to strive for and attain success, but doing it the right way and being good citizens.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth, you're watching ECTV. Matthew Swan, Lucas Norcavicius bringing you tonight's coverage as we get ready for set number 2. Greenville did take the first set 25-13. They were able to pretty much lead for the entirety of that first set. Again, that front line has been very strong, and Lucas, as you said, their offense has been very productive and involved throughout that set. And we get ready for this second set. Greenville will start things off. Emma Ratterman will serve, and a good eye by Brooklyn Shell. Eureka will gain the first point of set number 2.
Yeah, like you said, they've been very productive. I mean, out of their 8 or 9 starting players, 6 of them have at least 1 kill, right? You love to see that as a coach. Well, he doesn't seem to love it very much, but...
Here's Claire Schaffner, and that'll go into the net.
Okay. Got some energy going over there.
Again, it's moments like those, that's when you want Eureka to start picking things up a little bit, gain the momentum, have an early lead. Obviously something that they've struggled to do throughout the course of the season. Here's Ratterman still in play, and there is a whistle blown.
They're calling a reach on the whistle company. They're saying that she reached over the ball and touched it when it wasn't over the plane.
Yeah, so Greenville will gain their first lead of the second set. Again, Groman to serve. Dixon outside, Shell timing it up. Evers is there. Here she is with a slam, kept up by Dixon. Shell forced to hit it over. Evers again, Dixon, another dig. She's been very good defensively tonight. Ratterman, here's one with the left hand from Legendre. 3-1 Greenville.
I always strongly disliked left-handed oppos when I played. They are very hard to defend.
Here's Groman again. Bit of a softer serve, a little easier for Eureka to handle there. Here's Dixon. Bonacarsi, another slam over the middle by DeJesus, but Lyra Mattis able to get the block, or the dig. Set outside again, a floater, dug out, and hit into the net. It took a little bit for that ball to touch the ground, but it'll be another kill for Legendre.
Yeah, oppos, right, you like them being left-handed because there is a downside to being right-handed and hitting on the right side, not to get into all of it, but it's a huge advantage for sure.
That one will go past Bonacorsi, and Eureka 2 points now here in the second set. Well, we talked about Eureka's hitting percentage last week on the road against Webster, only 93%. Right now they're hitting negative 57%. So not much improvement to be seen up to this point. But they do gain their 3rd point there. They cut it down to 1. Here's Caitlin Robinson to serve.
Yeah, usually when you're talking about stats, you don't want to hear negative a lot, right?
Yeah. There's a slam from Greenville. Up by 2 now.
That's about as good as you can make it look right there.
Yeah, honestly, they're making it look effortless right now.
That's what they say. They say good teams make the hard things look easy.
Greenville is definitely one of the bigger teams in the conference in terms of roster size. Here's Robinson outside. Dixon unable to get that one to fall. Bratterman. Here's a floater from Legendre. And it'll get past Shell.
If Greenville is one of the bigger teams, I would say that Eureka seems like it would be one of the bigger teams as well, correct?
Yeah, I agree. Eureka definitely has done a great job at recruiting over the last couple of seasons, especially last year. Like I said, all the freshmen that came in, and it's not just to show number-wise for the roster, but these freshmen last season, they were also starting games for a vast majority of the season as they continue, obviously now sophomores, as they continue to do. Here is the senior Brooklyn Shell. There's a slam deflected, and it'll fall. Greenville gains another point. We mentioned in the pregame that the Panthers have won the SLIAC Conference the last 7 years in a row. Last season they went 21-10 overall, 14-2 in the conference. Their season ended by being swept on the road against Hope College in the 1st round of the NCAA Division III Regionals. So they fell short of their hopes. Here's a point for Eureka.
I'm not sure I want to see the team that swept this team.
Red Devils trail by 2. Here's Alyssa Company. Line drive and just out of bounds. Good eye by that back row.
There it is again. They're within 2 points. They're within that 3-point reach, and it's a miss serve.
There's Vang, and took a little too long deciding what she wanted to do on that play. Again, the angle of, she turned left a little bit, causing her to hit that one out. Here's Lyra Mattis. Back set by Robinson. Dixon is blocked, and Eureka has nowhere to go on that hit. Evers will continue to serve here. 3 points to her night. Here's Grief. Kept up and out of bounds. Rupper unable to reach it. Bree Dixon over to Groman. Groman with the slam, and another point for Greenville.
Stands are getting pretty packed right now.
Yeah, this is probably the most amount of people we've seen in the stands this season for women's volleyball. It's good to see them come out on pink night and support. There's a point for Eureka, and that gets their bench going a little bit.
Ref doing his best Matrix impression trying to dodge that ball. That was a little scary for him for a second.
He's not used to having to get out of the way like that.
Not at all.
Here's Miller for Eureka, the junior out of East Peoria, Illinois. A slam from DeJesus, not able to get that one to fall. Outside, Groman, straight to Lyra Mattis. Here's Shell, timing it up, still in play. Dixon is there, Lyra Mattis calls it off. Nagel off the deflection, and Groman visibly frustrated. Red Devils only down by 3 here in set number 2. Groman. Evers from the back row, unable to get it to fall.
Beautiful set.
Nagel this time gains another point.
That was a very impressive set, to say the least.
She's becoming more involved in that front row. Seems like every single time we see her. Here's Evers again. Ball still in play, called off by Lyra Mattis. Shell. Kept up by Evers. Outside, Groman blocked. And she did not hit that ball where she wanted it to go. Eureka down by 1 now.
We got our serving.
That's true. I will say, Red Devils, as we mentioned, sit last in the conference, but for a team that on paper might not look the best, they are being pretty competitive here in this game. Greenville leads by 2. Here's Ratterman to serve. Shell takes it away. Calls it off. The floater, and it falls past a diving Bonacorsi. So the kill for Brooklyn Shell. As she now has 2 points in this game. Here is Schaffner with the serve. Groman, and looks like there was some deflection off of Schaffner. Otherwise, I think that one would have gone out of bounds, but here is Groman. This time, a nice floater over to Miller. Schaffner off the deflection. Tip, DeJesus gets it to fall. Good placement.
Great set there. Well done by the middle, trusting in her setter and knowing that she could get that ball and running that route.
Yeah, that front row, as we keep mentioning, really prevents Eureka from doing what we usually see them do, and it opens up a lot more opportunity for Greenville on offense here. Looks like Red Devils will take another timeout. We are going to keep things here, though. Panthers 15, Eureka 11 here in set number 2. Eureka College Red Devils volleyball is made possible by City Blue Technologies of Peoria, an Epson distributor serving Central Illinois. Did you know that North America consumes around 100 million pounds of toner powder annually? This is the equivalent of more than 2.5 billion plastic bottles, 9.5 billion plastic bags, or 116 billion plastic straws. Epson now has precision core heat-free printing as an alternative to laser printers. Learn about sustainable printing solutions from City Blue Technologies at citybluetechnologies.com.
You know, my dad actually gave me a great analogy for what missing a serve would look like if it was compared to the NBA. And he said, imagine if you were taking a free-throw shot, and if you make it, you score a point. But if you miss it, the other team gets a point. That gives you a perspective on why coaches are harp so heavily on missing serves, right? Because it's not just an opportunity for you to gain a point. You're really giving the other team a point, and not only that, the ball as well. So you wouldn't really see a lot of missed free throws in the NBA, would you, if it was that much of a negative?
Definitely not. That is a very good analogy. And again, it's another one of those things that Eureka has struggled with. As we continue play, Eureka tries to get one to fall, kept up. Outside tipped, and Greenville with the first point coming out of the timeout. 16-11.
Shout out Papa Gathers.
Here's Abby Groman again. Dixon outside, and nobody was there for Eureka. I think the serve might have been a little too short, or maybe Shell just wasn't expecting to receive the ball. Either way, it's a point for the Panthers. Groman will continue. This time across the middle, Miller hits it backwards and off of the basket.
I mean, it went from being a tied-up game to an 6-point lead like that, and look what happened. They've had that serve for the last 5 times, right?
Yeah, Red Devils try to gain some of that fire back after the timeout. Instead, looks like Greenville is taking things away. Here's a slam from Evers, still in play. Back set to Nagel.
Great
and it's inbounds. Eureka with a point. Malia Nagel, 4 points tonight. I will say, it looks like Eureka's placement has been improving, especially in this game.
Absolutely. I mean, they're hitting some really nice spots on the court, not just hitting it hard, but placing it very, very well, like you said.
Evers, and that'll stay between the lines. Another point for the Panthers.
They said, what you can do, I can do better.
19-12, Greenville on top. Now it'll be Brooklyn Mappa. This will be her second time to serve tonight. Shell dives, keeps it up, outside. Company back in. That one high off the ceiling. Ratterman able to hit it, and that one will be hit out of bounds. So Eureka does end up gaining the point.
A lot of people will not realize how hard it is to control a ball that high and place it that low, but that set was very well placed for how difficult of a situation she was in.
Yeah, definitely not the easiest thing to do, especially with the force of the ball. Like you said, not much to do in terms of controlling it. Here's one from Shell. A floater from McGendre, still in play. And a good move by Caitlin Robinson. Catching Greenville off guard. Shell back to it. Over the middle. Outside, the slam kept in play. Griff hitting it over. Company lost it for a second. And looks like that was out of bounds, and it is.
You know, when your coach says use your head, I don't think they mean it in that way, but that's the second time she got hit in the head there, so might want to check in on her.
If it works, it works.
Yep.
Eureka down by 4. Here's Shell. This time over to Groman. Outside, Evers off the deflection. Lyra Mattis keeps it up. And still in play. A good job by Greenville to keep the rally going. Groman again hits it over to Evers. Griff using two hands. Bonacarsi. Outside, Legendre. Good move by Dixon. And again, great placement by Eureka. They'll gain their 16th point of set number 2. Shell again. Still in play. Lyra Mattis will call this one off. Dixon with the hit. Outside, Evers trying to regain momentum for Greenville. Unable to do so. Legendre now. Robinson, Eureka starting to make their way back into the set, and they gain another point. Red Devils down by 2, hoping to stay in this set. Brooklyn Shell hoping to continue her hot streak. Off the hands of Groman, and it'll fall. Another Red Devils point.
I'm actually very curious as to what the call would have been if they kept playing that off of the deflection.
Yeah, I mean, there was no whistle blown, so I'd imagine that they would have kept it in play.
Interesting situation, to say the least.
Here's Shell. And off the hands of Groman. Nearly went into the stands. Red Devils tie it up at 19.
You know, it's funny, I think those last two serves, if they weren't touched, may have sailed out, but she's putting them just close enough that they have to grab it.
Eureka trying to take the lead.
I like that changeup.
For the first time since their first point of this set. Robinson in play. Lyra Mattis over to Grief. And that time, into the net, Greenville regains the lead, 20-19.
That short serve was a great idea there. It's kind of similar to a pitcher, how, you know, they show you something and then they'll throw you a little something different based on what you've seen. She showed them a deep serve, deep serve, deep serve, and then all of a sudden you get a short serve out of nowhere. It gets them out of system, but unfortunately they can't capitalize on it.
Here's Rupert. Vang calling it off. Robinson over to Company. Tried to get it to fall. Evers, and let's wait for the call. Inbounds.
Yeah.
Greenville extends.
I don't think she could have walked it over there and put it in a better spot.
Yeah, it looked like it was right on that line. Grief. Here's Company with the floater. Great job by Greenville to keep it up, and it'll go into the stands. Great effort by Rupert, but unable to get there. Red Devils down by 1. There's head coach. Back set, and mistimed by Lainey Hicks. She tried to get it over as she was shifting towards her right. Ends up hitting it into the net. Red Devils tie it back up at 21. Very competitive set.
Quite frankly, I'm very surprised that they decided to run a slide when it seems like their other sets have been working very well.
Yeah, if you're Greenville, and there's another point for Eureka. They take the lead for the first time since their first point back in this set. But yeah, if you're Greenville, you might not want to change up your game plan. It's been working for them this entire game.
Great set.
Evers outside, kept up, and Gauna realized that she hit it multiple times in a row. Can't do that, so Greenville ties it up.
In that span of 2 seconds, she used about all 3 touches they had. So.
Yeah. Here's Evers to serve. Vang keeps it up. Robinson hits it backwards. Grief. And this will be a point for the Panthers. They once again lead it 23-22. 2 points away from taking the first 2 sets of the night. Evers into the net. Tied game. This is where Eureka needs to capitalize. Bree Dixon at the line. And she'll hit it out. Too strong to her left. Another point for Greenville. They are now 1 point away from winning this set.
That was not ideal, to say the least.
Claudia Bonacorsi, season high of 24 digs, trying to take it home. There she is to keep it up. Ratterman, and Groman gets it to fall. That'll wrap up set number 2. Greenville takes it in a thriller, 25-23. They lead this one 2-0. They look to go for the sweep when we return. Stay tuned. You're watching ECTV live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth.
Did you know toner powder is actually powdered plastic? And Americans consume 100 million pounds of it each year. Epson Workforce Enterprise AM series printers are powered by simple, smart, and clean precision core technology, doing away with waste-making laser printer designs and parts that end up in landfills. So you can experience less wasting, more saving. Your Epson Business First partner is City Blue Technologies in Peoria, Eureka College's official partner for sustainable printing.
There's nearly 678,290,000 kids under 5 around the world. But what's so important about being 5? A lot, it turns out. Children who live to age 5 are twice as likely to reach adulthood. That's why vaccines matter so much. For 40 years, Rotary and partners have delivered vaccines globally. Like here, and even here. Impressive, right? But 12.5 million children are still totally unvaccinated. Rotary knows we can find them. Because when Rotary and Indian vaccinators looked for families at bus and train stations, used motorbikes, and trekked house to house, they lowered polio cases by 94%. See, it can be done, and the results are worth it. Let's ensure that all children grow up safe from preventable diseases.
Hey, boss. Okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
I said I'm fine.
Since I was little, it was only like me and my parents. You think you created family out of characters? Yeah, of course. I'm gonna take that, make it into a song.
Put me to bed, see you in the morning. With the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it. And we lost it.
Hey, son.
Hey, Pop.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
We welcome you back into the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. You're watching ECTV. Matthew Swan, Lucas Norcavichus bringing you tonight's coverage. We get ready for set number 3. Greenville able to take the first 2. They look to go for the sweep. It'll be the second time this season that Greenville could sweep Eureka if they convert here in this third set. It'll be the Red Devils to kick things off. Miller will serve. Lucas, we were just talking about the roster here for Greenville. They have a large majority of players who are high in the leaderboard right now for kills.
Oh yeah, I mean, you have 4 people with 5 kills on a pretty good hitting percentage. You're gonna win games.
And Miller hits it out. She fell a little bit after the serve, but nothing too serious.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Eureka has missed every one of their first serves in these 3 sets.
Yeah, it's been a common struggle. They haven't been able to get going early. They try to tie it up here, and Gauna made contact with the net. So 2-0 Greenville to start us off in this third set. It'll be Groman for the Panthers. As usual, over the middle to Shell. Dixon into the middle. Nagel able to hit it over. DeJesus tried to go for it there. Into the net, tried to dig it out, and Eureka gains their first point of this third set.
As my dad would say, DeJesus is a name that would look good on a jersey.
That's true. I've seen a few players with that last name in professional sports.
Baseball, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yep.
Another point there for the Red Devils.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if almost every last name has been used on a baseball jersey, you know?
That's true. Here's Lexi Liramatis over the middle. Outside, Evers deflected by Nagel, out of bounds. Greenville again up top 3-2. So now we see Mappa back at the line, sophomore out of San Diego, California. Here's one over to Shell, keeps it in play. Dixon outside, Shell resets and she'll hit it out. 4-2 Greenville. I think they're gonna have to update the score. I don't think the.
Yeah, I was about to say, unless the last couple points haven't counted.
Over the middle again, and Dixon tried to go for it, but takes the smarter option and decides not to run straight into that referee's position there. 4-2 Greenville. There we go, 5-2 Greenville. I was waiting for him to change the score.
Come on, making me look bad. Those are my fellow teammates over there.
Dixon over to Company, and she gets it to drop. Alyssa Company, 7 kills on the night, and Eureka trails by 2. So again, here's Caitlin Robinson. Robinson in her first year as a Red Devil. Evers, and she hits it too far to the right. Eureka, their 4th point in this set. Robinson 2 points on the night, over the middle. Outside, Evers forced to hit it over. Company. Here's Shell from the left side. Lyra Mattis keeps it up. Dixon, great reflex, is able to hit it over. Outside, there's Robinson again. Lyra Mattis now. Shell, and this will be a point for the Panthers.
Wow, whoever was in the middle for the Panthers there, she must have jumped at least 20-something into being able to go grab that ball, because she grabbed that at the top of the arc of the ball and just put it right back.
We were talking about it too. It's not the easiest thing to do to get that type of vertical.
Oh yeah.
Into the net. Eureka gains the point, down by 1. And actually, speaking of that, we also talked about it's harder for guys like you who play beach volleyball.
Absolutely.
It's a little more difficult to get that.
If you ever tried playing your sport, try playing it in sand. It's not as fun.
Yeah. Here's Brooklyn Shell hoping to tie it up here for Eureka. Roman over to Lero Mattis. Company over the middle, off the deflection, out of bounds. Eureka does tie it up.
You know, sometimes you can just tell when it's going to be a good swing and when you're going to score a point, and you could really just tell on that route. I mean, everything there looked really good.
And the sound, too, coming off the hit.
Absolutely.
Nice and solid. Here's one outside. Evers with the floater, still in play, and Shell just unable to keep it up. And you can tell she wanted that one.
Yeah, we call that having good hand contact, and you can hear that smack on that ball. That means that you really got your full hand on it, and you're really just snapping through with your wrist. It's very important for producing that topspin that you see on the ball.
Here's Robinson over the middle. Company this time goes with the floater. Still in play, Groman. Now it's Dixon's turn. Over to Bonacarsi. Lero Mattis there to back up Grief. Outside, Groman. Whistle is blown, and Eureka once again ties it up at 7.
You know, if I was a ref, I would give that point every single time. I mean, I feel like unless I hear a sound or I see a clear contact, I mean, I'm going to assume it's a net.
Alyssa Company again. She leads the team right now in kills and total points. That one's
barely
long. Red Devils, for the first time in set number 3, gain the lead, 8-7.
1 inch back, and that would have been basically as perfect as you can place a ball.
And it seems like Greenville's been able to do that a lot tonight. Here's one over the middle, and this time the Panthers do gain control, tie it back up at 8. So it'll be Bonacarsi to serve for Greenville. Vang is there, and off the hands. It'll drop for a Panthers lead. So Bonacarsi will continue to serve. This one to her right, still in play. Vang pushes it back in bounds. Lero Mattis hits it over. Ratterman and DeJesus with the kill.
I mean, you could even see our coach react. He was a little bit like, ooh.
Well, we were waiting for DeJesus to time it up, and she did there. And
she most certainly did.
Yeah. Got full advantage of it. Here's Dixon, and Robinson with the dive. Nearly went into one of those seats, but it'll be another point for Greenville. So here's Bonacarsi, still at the line. Grief over to Gauna. It'll be Dixon to hit it over. And that'll go out of play off of Greenville. So Eureka cuts it down to 2. Roman. And she'll hit it backwards. Red Devils down by 1 now, still in this ball game. It has been, we've seen a lot of competitiveness from Eureka against one of the top teams in the conference. They've just been unable to finish strong, and there's another point for the Panthers. Here's Ratterman. Over the middle, Vang again, and Jocelyn Vang is right now struggling just to keep this one in play. You do have to give her some credit, though. She is a freshman.
Absolutely.
Playing at the Division III level. Always a positive sign. Here's Dixon over to Gauna. This time, Vang sets it perfectly. Gauna again blocked again. Dixon outside. And hit into the net from Nagel. So another point for Greenville.
To give credit to her, I mean, you did just say that, you know, she's a freshman. She got ace once, and then next time they go back to her and she gives a perfect pass, and that's what you love to see from your players as a coach.
Good job by Grief keeping it in play. Gaunant. Set to DeJesus, who goes back for the kill.
I mean, if I'm the Panthers coach, I'm wondering why we're not just running that every time. That seems to be real efficient right there.
DeJesus now 6 kills tonight, and that one too strong. And actually, that was a 7th kill for DeJesus on the last play.
On only 2 errors, which is a very, very good efficiency, especially for a middle.
Red Devils trail by 4. And you're watching ECTV live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth. Matthew Swan, Lucas Norcavicius bringing you tonight's coverage. Here's one to Groman, and Dixon able to keep it up, but that'll go past Lyra Mattis. Not much you can do there for Eureka. So here's Abby Groman at the line again. Lyra Mattis this time keeps it up, but it'll be another point for Greenville. And Eureka is going to call a timeout. Greenville leads it 17-11 here in set number 3. We're going to keep things here, though. We are seeing a bit more emotion from the Greenville bench, as it looks like maybe now they're feeling a bit more comfortable now that they have a good lead in this ball game, 2-0, and they have a comfortable lead here in the 3rd set as well.
Yeah, I mean, right now, their biggest struggle really is just whenever the Panthers get a nice insistent pass, DeJesus seems almost unstoppable. I mean, they're running that set at an incredible pace, and she's hitting it at a height where it seems as though the Eureka middles are struggling to, you know, keep up with it and even get a block up, right? And if you can set in the middle of the court and not have a block, I mean, that's when you have a problem, right?
Yeah, DeJesus 10 points tonight, 7 kills as well. She's hitting right now for over 300%. So she's definitely one of the players in this game alone that Eureka is having a very hard time stopping. Both teams make their way back out onto the floor. 17-11 the score. Greenville looking to go for the sweep. And as the serve was hit, it looks like we're actually going to have a whistle blown. So a reset here. Groman maybe moving a little too fast for even her own liking. So here we go.
When we're talking about pushing that tempo, I don't think we meant it like that.
Here's Gauna, and she will be blocked. Again, that front row. Who else but DeJesus?
Absolutely. Remember the name.
Groman will go back to it. 18-11 Panthers. And a deflection off of Miller. Miss hitting there. Groman will go back to it. Nice floater. This time Miller able to keep it up. Shell, left side, she'll be blocked. Again, DeJesus and the Gendre on that right side for Greenville. 5 points away from completing the sweep and beating Eureka for the 2nd time this season. Another floater. Dixon back sets, and it'll go past a diving Bonacorsi. Eureka with their 12th point of set number 3.
One way you can kind of see the difference in the levels between the two teams is it feels like the Panthers, they can almost score, you know, it feels almost surprising when they don't score, right? It feels like Eureka really has to fight it out just for each and every single point, which, you know, they can do, but can you really do that for 25 points before the other team score 25?
Yeah, and that's usually a good sign that for Eureka, it means that they're working harder than they have to. So that's a good sign for Greenville when it, you know, you see your opponent fighting and working a little bit more than they should have to. Miller keeps it up. Lear Mattis dives in. Not much you can do there for Eureka. Good effort on the play.
Because in the volleyball world, there are situations which are just kind of considered like, okay, you can't do anything about that. That's going to be a point for the other team, right? But you're not really seeing a lot of those situations or opportunities for Eureka here. But for the Panthers, simply just from the middle with DeJesus, those swings, you can't do much about them, right? And that's what just makes it so hard to win these games.
Company off the deflection gains another point.
Well, if there's anyone that can make it look easy, it's her, so.
Company has really stepped up over these last 2 seasons. Again, she's only a sophomore.
Which was very surprising to me when I found out, by the way. I automatically just assumed she was a senior when I watched the first game.
Yeah, and it's not just her gameplay, it's her leadership on and off the court. There's another point for Greenville. 3 points away from taking this set.
She certainly has a very bright future in the volleyball world ahead of her if she decides to take that path.
I'm sure that she's living the dream right now, continuing to play volleyball at the collegiate level. Speaking of Company, wow, another kill, her 10th of the night.
That's not a spot that you see get hit very, very often in the women's game. And, I mean, she definitely hit that spot unless my eyes deceive me.
Yeah, perfect placement there for Alyssa Company. Here's Brooklyn Shell now to serve. And it's long, so Eureka will turn things over. Greenville 2 points away. It'll be Elena Evers, the senior out of Wheaton, Illinois, who we mentioned in the pregame. Here's Robinson setting it up for Company, and it'll fall right in front of Bonacorsi. Eureka stays alive.
Staying alive, staying alive. Any more and we have copyright.
Here's Company again. Serve over the middle to Bonacorsi outside. Here's Groman. Vang able to keep it up. Good job by Robinson to lean over, keep it in play. That's the type of effort you want to see from your team. That time it's hit out and a point for Greenville.
That ball seemed to almost be looking for my fellow teammate Sean right there. I don't know how I kept finding him, but honestly, good by him getting out of the way there.
Panthers 1 point away. Bonacorsi hoping to finish it off. Here's Grief. Over to Vang. Grief will have to hit it over. Outside to Jesus over the middle. This time too strong.
That was not the DeJesus that we've been seeing.
Yeah, she hasn't made a lot of errors tonight.
I think that's her first error in the last 3 kills she's gotten.
This one hit out by Groman. Excuse me, that was actually hit out by Rupert. Groman tried to keep it alive, but was unsuccessful.
Are we perhaps seeing an Atlanta Falcons Patriots collapse here?
Kept in play. Groman to Lyra Mattis, who keeps Eureka's hopes alive. Outside, over the middle. Vang is there. Dixon over to Gauna.
Someone was in that.
Strong rally between both sides. Here's Groman off the deflection, and it'll fall in front of Grief. And that will close things out here. Final score in set number 3, 25-18. Greenville takes it. They sweep Eureka for the second time this season. Red Devils, again, on paper, might not have looked like the strongest team.
They're definitely happy.
They made it competitive. Lucas, what do you think?
I think that if you're the Eureka coach, obviously, you go in every game wanting to win, but this is not exactly a bad outcome. You had a lot of young players get to see some really, really good competition, and I think, like we mentioned, with some of the serve receive stuff, with some of the young defensive players, some of the young offensive players, they played up to that level, and that's what you really want to see, right?
That's exactly right. But again, Greenville takes it 3-0. Our next broadcast of Eureka College Volleyball will be on November 6th when Eureka hosts Webster University. You can watch that broadcast right here on ECTV. Coverage will begin at 6:55 p.m. Live from the City Blue Technologies broadcast booth, Eureka College Volleyball is made possible by City Blue Technologies, a leading Epson dealer serving Central Illinois. The executive producer of Eureka College Volleyball is Dr. John Malone. Tonight's studio operator is also Dr. John Malone. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Lucas Norcavicius, this is Matthew Swan. Thank you for watching.
Not anymore, you guys don't do that one? Wow.
Trader.